Hello Wayne.
Hello.
How are you? Hey.
Hallo, das ist Rolf von Tesla Owners US und wir haben hier Wayne. Und Wayne ist ein Full Self-Driving Beta-Tester. Und er hat so ein paar Abenteuer mit dem Wagen und mit dem Folienwagen. Und er hat sich jetzt auch, das ist ein, ist it 2020?
Yes.
2020 Model X. Und was für eine Erfahrung er damit gemacht hat. Und das kommt jetzt nach dem...
Hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in
Here we are back, and Wayne is here, and I met him in Wickenburg at the supercharger when I actually had my travel trailer at my Model X pulling it, and then he was asking me a whole bunch of questions, and then I asked him a bunch of questions, and I was even mad because he was parking just right in the middle, and I couldn't get to the charger with the trailer together, so I had to uncouple it. It was not that big of a problem, and then the other comes in another story. So I asked Wayne, how are you doing, and so on. And Wayne is coming originally from Iowa, middle of the country, almost Midwest, right?
Yeah, in the Midwest.
And you are a Tesla kind of a fan, like everybody of us is a Tesla fan, right? So,
oh, yes.
And you got to know it from your son, is that correct?
Son-in-law. Yep.
Son-in-law.
Yep.
Yes, and accidentally he digged out a picture from me and from his daughter with my Roadster in 2012. So cycle is closing again. So let me translate that. So ich habe hier Wayne getroffen am Supercharger in Wickenburg und da hat man so ein paar Sachen, er hat genau in der Mitte geparkt und da konnte ich ankoppeln. Er fand aber das gut mit dem Anhänger, dass wir da dran waren, dass ich mit dem Model X den gezogen habe. Und dann sind wir ins Gespräch gekommen und dann haben wir ein paar Fragen gehabt. Und er ist ein Fan wie ich und über seinen Schwiegersohn ist er da hingekommen zu Tesla. Und dann wollen wir jetzt mal die Geschichte erzählen. So, let me ask you first how it started. What was your first Tesla?
Our first Tesla was a 2018.
Yes.
And we loved the car. We did go ahead and purchase the autopilot with it.
Yeah, including autopilot, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I absolutely loved it. It was, again, a learning curve, but it was all good. I mean, I still love it.
It was still driving nice, autopilot, auto cruising, highway cruising, and so on.
Absolutely.
No problem, right?
No problem at all.
Yeah.
No problem at all. And we put close to 50,000 miles on that car. And then we decided we were doing a lot of traveling.
Er hat einen 2018er Model X gekauft und die haben das Car gemocht und es war mit Autopilot und Full Self-Driving haben sie auch schon gekauft zu dem Zeitpunkt und die haben sie bis zu 50.000 Meilen, also 80.000 Kilometer auf das Auto gefahren und dann haben sie sich entschlossen, was anderes zu machen.
Okay.
So then you decided to do a different one, right? So
yes, we were traveling more and more, and at that time too, there were usually plenty of superchargers.
Yeah.
But we only had 230 miles of
range. Effective range, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't. It wasn't too bad. We could always make it to all the chargers, but in the Midwest, you lose a lot with the cold weather. So,
oh yes, yeah.
So that's something that, you know, there was a little concern to us there. So we went ahead and ordered a new one, a 2020.
Yeah. This
one still gets the free supercharging, and
oh, really?
Yes.
So you just made it there in between where they wanted to sell the 2020, and they still offered free supercharging on the car, right?
Correct.
Oh no, no, on you. When you sell the car, it's not free anymore, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Good. Dann haben sie entschlossen, einen 2020er zu kaufen wegen der Reichweite, weil wenn das kalt ist in Iowa, dann dann knabbert das schon in der Reichweite. Da wollten sie ein bisschen komfortabler sein mit der Reichweite. Und dann haben sie sich entschlossen, einen 2020er zu kaufen. Und der kommt sogar mit Free Supercharging.
Yes.
So this one was also free supercharging. Is still free supercharging, right?
Yes, for life. The life,
For life.
of we own the car.
Yes.
One thing I sure wish that they could have happen if, for instance, God forbid, you get in an accident and you wreck your car.
Yeah.
Well, now the supercharging's gone. You'd get a new car out of it, but the supercharging would not come with it.
Yes, that's true.
So, but
And then Tesla is pretty quick. So when the car is gone and they try to re-access the car, that's the first thing what they do. They cut off the supercharging.
yes,
That even if you're rebuilding it and recovering it, supercharging is gone.
oh, is that right? I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So,
that's the first thing what they do. They cut off the supercharging, free supercharging.
Now,
There's a setting in your car. It's the first thing is going to be recut. Okay.
but do they turn that back on after you rebuild your car and you are still the owner?
Yes, they're supposed to, but there's a lot of complications with that because you need to recertify the car, and the certification process is pretty cumbersome and so on.
Ah.
So drive careful. So, was ich noch über sagen wollte in Deutsch ist dass er mochte das Free Supercharging und das ganze Fahrzeug war in Free Supercharging und das geht natürlich verloren, wenn du jetzt einen Unfall hast, dann nimmt das Tesla sofort raus. Oder er kann das auch nicht mehr, wenn er einen Unfall hat, kriegt er ein neues Auto, aber das Supercharging ist dann natürlich weg. So, but you still kept that supercharging, right?
Yes.
Yes. So, and then did you have also full safe driving with this with this car, or did you order that later?
Actually, this car was in a mall where it was actually what they considered a used model, even though there was only 10 miles on the car.
Okay.
So
Yes.
it did not have the full self-driving.
Yeah.
However, we wanted it, so they turned it on for us, no problem.
Yeah.
So,
But you had to
that's-
pay for that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You had to pay for it. And at that time, we were just starting the pandemic, so it was if someone else had just bought a brand new Tesla that never had one before, I could see where it could be a little confusing for them,
Yeah.
because we bought ours and we went into Chicago to get it, and there was an envelope on the dash, and they told us to call this number when we got there, and it was quite an easy process. We had the check that we slid in that envelope, and we put it in a depository right there at their service center.
Yeah.
They woke up our car, and we drove away, and that was the end of it. So the key was in the envelope, and it just says, okay, you're good to go. And so I says, well, would you want to come down? Because we had a couple other little questions.
Yeah.
Actually, they had a little hard time opening the car up, starting it. And he goes, oh, no, he was in another state somewhere. So
Okay.
the service center was closed. We just got in our car and we drove away. And that was fine because we already experienced the Tesla and our 2018 model. So it was a real easy.
And then I show you also here, this is full self-driving beta here, and you can see that full self-driving beta profile, chill, average, assertive, traffic stop sign, beta, full self-driving visualization preview, expanded full self-driving visual und Summon und beta summon. So, da habe ich euch das mal kurz gezeigt, also full self-driving ist alles drin, alles gekauft. How much did you pay? 8,000 at that time? Because now 12,000, right?
Yes, I believe. I was thinking it was $6,000, but it was either $6,000 or $8,000 for the full self-driving.
Yeah, for full self-driving.
That might have been for the
So then,
2018.
what was the process? Did someone try to convince you to then be a beta user for that, or what was the process for that?
Okay, what happened there is they went ahead and contacted us and asked if we wanted to be in the beta program.
Yeah.
And I acknowledged it, and on our screen it had told me that first thing I had to do was drive for 1,000 miles so I could prove to them I was a safe driver. So
Okay.
yeah, so we drove. Actually, it worked out pretty good because we were leaving for Nashville, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And so my whole drive down, my whole drive back, and then some is how I had to prove that I was going to be a safe driver through Tesla. It was really awesome because they would even show it on my phone.
It was even highway, right? Highway.
Oh yeah, highway and everything, and interstate. And
But they show it on your phone?
Yes, it would show how good of a driver I was on the phone, and it would tell me the areas where I was bad at. Like if I was fouling too close, it would take away points. If I was speeding, it would take away points.
So what is speeding? 10 miles more, 20 miles more?
You know, I don't know, because it's just so funny. And of course, as fast as these cars are, you can just pass a car and be doing 80 mile an hour in just a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So they really didn't. I don't think they really considered that a big factor, unless you're doing 130 mile an hour, which would be understandable.
Um in das Beta-Programm zu kommen, du musst erstmal beweisen, er musste 1000 Meilen fahren und in 1000 Meilen hat er so einen bestimmten Score bekommen und der Score wurde immer auf einem Telefon angezeigt. Ja, da war man zu nah drauf gefahren, hier war man zu schnell gefahren und so weiter und er konnte den Score noch, also den noch verbessern, wenn er wollte. Und okay, what happened after the 1000 miles? You got approved?
Yes, we got approved, and it was working well. And then, I don't know, after about 2 or 3 weeks, we started experiencing what they were calling phantom braking.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Now, the phantom braking, I mean, that's okay if you're going into a curve and it's 55 and it might slow you to 50. So it would put the brakes on, but not abruptly. It would just slow you.
It'd slow you down. It actually could use regenerative braking in order to slow you down a little bit and then come into the
continue.
Yeah, I would understand that as well. Yeah, I would understand that as well.
So that was not a problem. I could deal with that.
Now, what was rather the problem?
Well, the problem arose when, say, you're cresting a hill, and it can be a sunshiny day, no shadows, because that was a problem too for a little bit. When you'd run into a shadow, it would slow you down.
Yeah.
But then it became so bad that it would just slam the brakes on. I mean, we'd be on a 2-lane road. You'd be cresting a hill, or if you're passing a car, or even passing a car, sometimes it would just slam the brakes on for whatever reason. And this can happen at 50 mile an hour, 80 mile an hour.
And really slammed the brake like you would really press the brake as an emergency brake, yeah?
Correct.
Yeah.
And it would also, once in a while, it would even bring up a notice on the screen.
This red flashing on the screen.
Yes, red flashing, and beep, 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 just very loud, like you were actually in an accident, but there was no one around, nothing.
Yeah.
So we were first experiencing that just in 2 lanes. And so then it started doing it also on 4-lane roads. You could be doing 80 miles an hour and the brakes would just slam on very hard. Now, you have to understand, we've owned this car we almost have 50,000 miles.
Yeah.
And we drove 35,000 miles with no issues. As soon as we got the beta program, this is when this problem started. And we drove, I think I've really gave it a good shot. Because I've given it probably at least roughly 3 months.
Er ist mit dem Fahrzeug gefahren und nach einer Weile hat es wirklich angefangen mit diesem Phantom Braking. Also abrupt, direkt davor. Erst war es nur bei 2 Lanes, also 2 Spuren. Und dann auch bei 4 Spuren. Da, ob man nach 50 Meilen gefahren ist oder 80 Meilen, richtig hart gebremst. Und das war natürlich ein Problem gewesen. Er hat ja kein Problem, wenn er das nur mal so eben in der Kurve, das reduziert die Geschwindigkeit, aber wenn es hart war, das war ein Problem. Und das hat auch zur Zeit nicht aufgehört. So the phantom braking got worse, right? And how worse did it get?
Well, on my way out here,
yeah.
Okay, I'm going to back up just 1 second because after this started, I of course got a hold of Tesla, and
yeah.
I got a call, and it was a good 20-minute to a half-hour call from one of the engineers explaining that, you know, this is the beta program, of course, as we all know. We're working on this, and it's going to get better. And so if you want to opt out, you can.
Yes.
And but if you want to stay on, if you want to bear with us and go through this program with us, it's getting better, and we're going to keep sending new updates. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to stick with it because I wanted to be part of it.
So you want to be part of it, and basically, but you're not getting paid for that, right?
No.
And you, what about the services? Do you have to pay for the internet services here, like the wireless service for that? You have to pay for that, the transmission of data and so on? No. Okay, good.
No, there's no cost.
So no cost in that case.
No.
But someone did not agree to you, you told me. So someone, I think your wife didn't agree to that, is it correct?
Right. Yeah, she was fed up. More so than myself, she was having even a hard time when we first had just the full self-driving.
Yeah.
You know, but she was actually getting very used to it, and she was starting to use it. But I guess I shouldn't have jumped in on the beta program because she absolutely hated it after that. Because again, she was just starting to trust the car real well, and then all of a sudden this started. So it was really tough.
Yeah.
So we were coming to Arizona from Iowa, and she chose to fly instead of driving because of the
so
braking.
From Arizona back to Iowa she flew and you drove, or
right? Yes, and I'll be going back to Iowa by myself as well.
Yeah.
So she'll just fly back because it's just way too much for her. But you know, and when you're driving, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But if you're reading a book or sitting in the back seat or whatever, and all of a sudden the brakes just slam on, it's very frightening, you know.
Yeah.
And especially if alarms go off in the car.
Yeah.
For instance, on the way out here, I was coming up through Hallbrook on the 4-lane road, and this was the worst. And I don't know why, but I'm driving 65 mile an hour. There's no cars around. It's 4-lane road, and it kept doing it for about the last, for probably about 40, 50 miles. This would just go along about 10 miles, and all of a sudden it would just slam on. It did that 4 or 5 times. And so even with the autopilot shut off completely, you shut off even the emergency braking.
Okay. So everything is closed. Everything is shut off.
Everything.
No beta, no autopilot, nothing, and it still slams the brake.
As long as you're using the cruise control, it will slam the brakes on.
Oh, okay.
If you're just driving normal, that's fine. If you don't use the cruise control, and you don't use autopilot, you can drive fine. But boy, if you push just the cruise control with everything else shut off, it still does it. No matter if it's in my settings or Tammy's settings.
So then you are close to quitting the program, right?
Actually, I did. I quit. Because,
oh, really?
Yeah. I opted out. They haven't shut it off yet. I don't know how long this will take, but it's just been a little too much. I love the autopilot. I don't want them to take that away. And I would hop back in on the beta program if they got rid of the phantom braking. I would absolutely jump right back in.
Okay.
Because I understand it's a learning process for everyone, and the only way they know this is by, people trying it and using it. And I think another thing that happens.
And that this is called machine learning, right?
Yeah.
So machine learning learns from the human, from their mistakes or from their good drives.
Yes.
Right. And you need a lot of data for machine learning.
Yeah.
There's a lot of storage. You need a whole basement full of servers to do that, and in order to get approximately something what a machine can do in order to improve from that. Basically, you are teaching
we're teaching
the computers.
Yeah.
You are teaching the computers. So when you see that some of the professional welders, they are doing a welding and they do that for the computer, and then a computer optimizes that, and then the robot does the welding for themselves. Right?
Sure, yeah.
So that's the simplified version of that, right? So the point is that also what I'm thinking is, you're not getting anything for that. You're just helping them, but I think you should be compensated for that. Because everybody should be compensated for that in any form, because you are helping them to improve their software.
Correct.
Right? So, so I have a different idea of full self-driving. When something is full self-driving, I have to take my car and send it to the airport for itself, picks up someone and brings that person back to me. All on itself. That is, for me, full self-driving. Right? So that's a different, I have a different opinion for that.
And you know, the way I look at full self-driving in the autopilot is, it's just another set of eyes, I consider it, okay?
Yes.
So I'm driving down the road. My car is going to be safer because not only do I have my eyes on the road, but if I turn away, my car has the other set of eyes. I had an experience where I was going down the interstate, and there was an on-ramp. And I looked over my mirror, and quite a ways back, there was a pickup truck coming on the ramp. But I thought, well, I still have plenty of time. I passed the exit. I have time to turn and get into the other lane, back into the lane. The car would not allow me to do it. I thought, what is going on? Why wouldn't it allow me? And about that time, zoom, that truck passed me by. The car knew it had sped up. After I pulled my eyes off, that truck must have accelerated hard, because all of a sudden he was beside my car. And the car
he was on the right side of you?
On the right side.
On the right side?
Getting on the exit, or coming onto the interstate.
Interstate to the highway, and you wanted to exit at the same time? Or?
I knew I was past the exit, so I was gonna, I would be past the exit. So I just was veering back over. I figured he would be behind me. But no, he
was not behind you.
And so that was my first experience of very well liking this full self-driving.
Yeah.
So
it does have advantages as well.
It does have advantages. And also, what I learned from the engineer when we had that 20-minute to half-hour talk was that he says, there's a camera on your dash. Whenever this car makes a big mistake, or just push that, and it will send it directly to it'll send that data directly to the engineers, and that's how we learn how this is.
It is when there's a mistake, you can push this button and keep it for 5 seconds. Oh, that camera here also? That camera there. Oh, yeah, so I didn't see that. This camera there.
So right here, every time it makes a mistake, just push that, and it will automatically send the data back to the engineers.
But with phantom braking, you must have pushed it all the time.
I pushed it numerous times. I mean, just all the time. You'd touch that every time, and which is good, because it would explain. It would tell them exactly when this happened, why, and where. They could see how fast I'm going. I might be doing 80 mile an hour, and that thing, it'll slam it down to 55 or 60 mile an hour, just that quick. My concern is, if there's someone behind you, and it's happened several times, they would flip me off. They would give me bad, nasty, faces as they're driving by, and there's nothing I could really do.
Wayne war im Full Self-Driving Programm, und durch dieses ganze Phantom Braking und so weiter. Er hat auch natürlich eine Erfahrung gehabt, dass ihm einmal geholfen ist, dass jemand auf der Autobahn Auffahrt draufgefahren ist, und er dachte, er hat noch genug Zeit, und er wollte eigentlich rechts rüber, und das hat ihn eigentlich gerettet dafür. Ich sehe das Full Self-Driving anders. Ich sage, das Auto muss selbst fahren können, es kann zum Flughafen fahren können, jemanden abholen und wieder zurückfahren. Und er sieht das so, einfach nur eine zusätzliche Hilfe, mehr Augen auf der Straße, und die ihm helfen können, dass er keinen Unfall baut. Und er hilft natürlich, und ich finde, dass man dafür entschädigt werden muss, wird er nicht. Alle die Leute, die in der Beta-Version sind, die bezahlen dafür, die bezahlen nicht dafür, die werden auch nicht bezahlt. Und das andere Problem ist ja, er sieht das als Hilfe an. Und wenn das mit dem Phantom Braking, er hat jetzt das Programm beendet. Er sagt, ich bin aus dem Beta-Programm raus, stellen Sie mir das wieder zurück. Und wenn das mit dem Phantom Braking nicht, diese Phantombremsen nicht gelöst ist, dann möchte ich das nicht haben. Wenn er das gelöst hat, ruft mich wieder an. Okay, good. So you had some advantages for the car as well, right? So
yeah.
And it's still full self-driving is still on there, and you are on. You could use it, right? But also you could use only cruise as well, right? Yeah.
Explain that one more time. Would you say?
So basically, you had some advantages from full self-driving. Another
Yeah.
set of eyes on the road, and so on. And you quit the program. Basically, your wife was too scared also to drive with you, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
She
because
would not
of that.
drive with you anymore if you have that full self-driving on.
That's right.
And so my wife is always complaining if I just put autopilot on, and she doesn't like it.
Yeah.
So this is the same where they need to adjust to women as well, because they are more sensitive in this area, because women like to control their cars and like to be in charge and in control. And if something happens what they cannot foresee, and then this is very scary.
Yeah.
So we have that with our trailer. What happened there is when we are driving on the highway only on autopilot, or not on only on cruise,
Just on cruise.
and we are going alongside the highway, and when we're going alongside the highway and there's a ramp coming up, there's nothing on the ramp. There's no car on the ramp. But all of a sudden, just almost at the end of the ramp, the car slams on the brakes.
Your car does this?
Yeah, your car with the trailer. This is scary when it hits with the trailer on the brakes. I only have autopilot, right? I have the new software, new hardware in there, autopilot, but it slams on the brake because I think what happens is there is something behind me on the on-ramp, but it sees the trailer.
Oh.
It does not see a car.
Okay.
It sees the trailer, and then it does the same thing like you did, protecting you when another car came on and you didn't want to move anyway, right?
Yeah.
So in this case, it does the opposite thing. It thinks there's a car behind me, and then it slams the brakes.
Now,
Yeah.
have you ever tried, let me ask you this, have you ever tried, when you have the trailer hooked on,
Yeah.
you could go into your settings and turn off the emergency braking. Have you tried that?
Yeah, we have tried that.
And it
that
still
doesn't make a
any
difference.
Okay.
Doesn't make a
Yeah, that was the same with ours. It doesn't
Yeah,
make any difference. You
doesn't
turn
make
off emergency braking.
No, it doesn't make any difference.
If you're using the cruise control, this thing is going to...
I got that advice from my followers as well on YouTube that, hey, turn that off.
Oh.
It didn't make a difference.
Didn't make any
So what we do now is my wife drives. She likes to drive, but she likes to be in control of driving, right?
Yeah.
She drives, comes an on-ramp, he takes autopilot off or cruise off, goes past the ramp, okay, take cruise on again. Sometimes he forgets it, the car slams in the brakes, and she said, damn it, I forgot it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that was one of my next questions, and I guess you've already answered that, because I was hoping that once I take off this beta, that now my car will behave normally like it used to when you use the cruise control, but obviously not.
I'm afraid that's not happening. You can, you know what? I would get back in contact with the engineer and said, hey, you need to tell me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and there's one other thing I want to share, and that is they've known this problem for a long time.
Yes. Yes.
They know it's a problem. However, what kind of struck me was they also knew only since January that a seatbelt chime problem they have with, I don't know, hundreds, thousand vehicles? Or
Yeah,
50,000
but
vehicles?
when your vehicle is, when you're not buckled up, then there's no chime coming up, yeah.
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 So I would think that phantom braking would be much more important than a chime.
Yes.
I understand it's the...
But you know what?
you say
Let me tell you that. the NHTSA, the National Highway Safety Authorization.
Yeah.
They complained with them and said, the chime is not working. And I said, oh God, don't bother me with this. Okay,
Yeah, right.
Next update, you get it.
It's
right?
going to be on, which is awesome.
But they don't know about phantom braking.
Yeah.
If they would drive the car like we drive with full self-driving and they get slammed on phantom braking, they would be on their ass immediately.
Yes.
Right?
And one other thing, being from the Midwest, we get a lot of snow and ice, obviously.
Yeah.
And my big concern is when you go over overpasses in the morning or the afternoon with not much sunshine, you can have black ice on these bridges.
And
what's going to happen
when
I go back to Iowa
and you get black ice
and
you run over the bridge? It does full safe phantom braking, right? And slams on the brake, and then you are losing control of the car.
Yeah, that's my big concern right now, and I believe this should be addressed. And
that must be addressed.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm doing that movie, because I know some Tesla guys are watching that, and that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, and the other thing is also, it was a quote from Elon himself saying that, oh yeah, the phantom braking, we know it's a problem, but by dropping a radar sensor from its automated driving system would address this so-called phantom braking. Now that was from Elon. So just do it. Take care of it for us. Somehow take care of this problem and put me right back on the program, because I love my Tesla. I won't drive anything but a Tesla.
So basically what it is, actually, it is the radar is interfering with the visual, and then the radar senses something and slams the brakes, probably.
Yeah.
So that's just take that whole radar out if you wanted to, right?
Yeah, which I understand that might be kind of tough because they...
I'm getting a Model Y. They postponed it for a couple of times now, but I'm getting a Model Y which does not have a radar.
Ah.
Right, and it does not have a radar. That means, hey, if it doesn't have a radar, it shouldn't be a phantom braking. But I guess it's still a phantom braking there.
It is.
Yes, because I had another person there, and their new cars don't have radar. The Model Ys didn't have radar, but it just happened the same way with phantom braking. So, would your wife drive with you now again or not?
Yeah, well, she's going to have to because this is our car. But she will be disappointed that if that's true, by taking off the beta program, that we're still going to have a problem if we use the cruise control. That's a huge issue. So
yeah, I
guess you can buy a Model X and just don't use your cruise control and you're going to be fine. But that's an option that we that's added with the car, and the same way with the money we spent on the full self-driving autopilot. If we can't use it, well then just give me my money back and give me a car with just like what you're going to get, the Model Y, and hopefully it won't have a problem. So I mean, that's my big issue. So
okay, good. Wie ich gesagt habe, Wayne ist aus dem Programm raus und er wartet darauf, dass er wieder auf Autopilot zurückgestellt wird. Und aber ich habe ihm da eigentlich nicht so eine großen Hoffnung gemacht, dass denn Full Safe, dass denn das Phantom Braking aufhört. Und wir haben auch so ein paar. Er möchte das wieder, dass das zurückgesetzt wird. Und er wollte nicht weiter mit dem Programm. Seine Frau muss wieder mit ihm fahren. Und wir bringen das Video hier, weil es wichtig ist und weil das wirklich adressiert werden muss. Tesla muss sich darum kümmern. Und zwar, es gibt da so ein Ding, dass der Rückruf wegen den Sicherheitsgurten und dass wenn die nicht angelegt sind, dass das Ding nicht klingelt. Ja, das ist so eine Sache, das ist nebensächlich eigentlich. Ich meine, ich lege immer den Sicherheitsgurt an, ob das klingelt oder nicht klingelt. Aber das ist eben von der National Safety and Highway Authorization, also die Kraftfahrzeugbundesbehörde, so vorgeschrieben. Und da sind die dann dran. Aber wenn die mal selber mit dem Auto fahren würden für so ein paar Kilometer und dann selber dieses Phantom Braking erleben würden, dann würden die wahrscheinlich sicherlich andersrum denken. Und ich mache das Video nur, damit ihr darüber informiert seid und damit Tesla sich daran was ändert. Okay, so let's have some finishing words, I would say.
Well,
Yeah.
like
so
I
you're
said
still
before.
I know you're still a Tesla fan.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? You still like the cars. You still like driving electric. You still would probably recommend some other Teslas to drive. Have you driven a Model 3 or a Model Y or something before? Or
Yes.
Yes.
We have. The Model 3 was a little bit small for us.
Yeah.
Because of the traveling we do, and
Yeah.
also the Model Y is a really nice vehicle. The Model S is awesome too. The only thing one of the main things that really got us in the Model X was the ease of in and out of the front seats. I mean, you have to kind of, on the Model S, it's more of a sports car. It's when you get in, you have to kind of, it's just harder to get in and out, with the doors climbing in and out. So that's why we like the Model X. And yes, my wife as well. She loves the car, absolutely loves it. And both of us would buy another Model X right away.
Well, there's a 1 year delivery time on it.
Yeah, I've been hearing that. But
so
no, we'll keep this.
Just recently, I read that Elon regretted that he stopped the Model X in the old version or Model S in the old version. He stopped the production line and then had it rebuilt.
Yeah.
But he could have sold much more cars.
Yes.
I think he said sold 50% less Model S and Model X's as in the year before because they couldn't do the ramp up so good.
Right. So yeah, I believe we got in at the right time. We got in on the we got in on the free supercharging and at the 2020 model. And like you say, people are waiting years now for the 2021, which I read that same article. So I'm glad we got our Model X and we did. So that was great.
So what range does it have now usually?
This range is 330 miles. It has decreased down to 320 that you can charge it to. So so it only dropped 10 miles, which is quite normal, from brand new down to this. So, but 50,000 miles almost. We love the car. We're going to continue driving the heck out of it, and we'll just wait to see when they drop this phantom braking. They really need to do this.
Guys, whoever see that from all of the Tesla guys and engineers, I still say that all my people who are watching, thumbs up, and the people who are watching and have capability to do something, do it. Subscribe to the channel. We have more reports about good things and not so good things, because it needs to be said that it needs to be repaired and needs to be taken care of. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much and talk to you next time. Also, wir mögen alle das Fahrzeug, wir mögen alle Tesla, wir möchten da gerne mitfahren. Seine Frau mag das Fahrzeug auch, aber das ist wirklich sowas, was uns aufstößt und was wirklich ein Problem ist. Und wir möchten gerne, dass das adressiert wird oder dass das bearbeitet wird von Tesla. Deshalb bringen wir Filme, wo es gute Sachen gibt und nicht so gute Sachen. Tesla daran messen muss, dass diese Sachen repariert werden müssen oder gefixt werden müssen. Okay, dann natürlich Daumen nach oben und Kanal abonnieren. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao, ciao. Okay, bye bye. Bye.
See you later.
Nice shirt.